just make sure that this works. Yes, it does. Perfect. Hi, my name is Doug Erkkila. I am a customer success manager at Splunk. And like the previous presenter, I'm not here to pitch Splunk. I'm here to pitch an idea, a concept that no matter what platform you're using, information matters. Now, we're all familiar with the journey to DevOps. It is not an overnight success. It's going to take time, and there's a lot of steps along the way. You know, whether you're at that agile, or whether you're at that waterfall position, or you're somewhere agile fall even into the SRE model, there are steps to this journey. Now, as I mentioned, information and data is paramount. Having all of that information together is actually one of the core tenets of DevOps, with the monitoring and the sharing of information. Now, that workflow is getting more and more complex because you've got multiple stages to your application build and delivery pipeline. You've got code, you've got planning, and for those people who actually care, you've got security scanning and compliance monitoring, all before you even get to the idea of actually running this application in production. So as we're going, this is increasing the risk as you throw more and more information, more and more processes, more and more people. It can make things more risky. So one of the ways to help combat that is to centralize information into a central data collector. Bring your information from your project planning, from your code testing, from your commit logs. Give people that one place to go, whether it's checking out your automation or even your self-service implementations. Give people one place to go so they don't have to go swivel hips from tool to tool to tool. It gives you one place to go. You can start to visualize, you can start to report, and you can start to automate on top of it. Now, why does this matter? Because you've got an entire plethora of tools at your disposal. Now, you may have gotten a new code development pipeline, a build automation platform, you know, whether it's Jira, Jenkins, Bitbucket with Bamboo. It doesn't matter what tools you have. It could change from project to project, from team to team, even within your own enterprise. Now, what is the end goal to having all of this information in one place? It's really to help improve the overall product, accelerate the delivery velocity, improve the quality, and in the end, really start to impact the business, because let's face it, the application is there to do a job. It's there to help either our internal customers or our external customers, because without the business, there is no need for these applications. But how can you do that with all that information in one place? Really, how does this improve application delivery? Well, from the velocity standpoint, you can start to give everybody on the team, whether it be security auditors, whether it be product owners or project managers, even your developers, have one place they can go and see that visibility. You know, not just visibility into how the code commits are going, but also visibility into who's committing. How is that application being run in production? What type of A/B testing is this application undergoing? How successful are these new features, and are customers happy? It gives everybody that visibility. One of the projects that I had worked on previously, we actually did something very similar to that and gave our end users feedback directly to the developers. They were able to, at a single glance, see how the code they developed impacted customer satisfaction and actually increased the company's bottom line. And that was great, because then the developers bought into the overall application. They suddenly saw what their toil was going to. It wasn't just churning out code. They saw the impact it had to customers. And having all that information in a central repository was critical for giving them that visibility. Now, the visibility also cuts the other way. You can also start to see how your application quality is improving over time. Not only how many additional tickets and defects are being released, but also how many are you catching in earlier stages. If you instrument your entire application delivery pipeline, it's easier to spot that. You can start to identify things before they get into production. You know, start to see, okay, you know, you may have an application build pipeline, say in Jenkins, that's going to report on this information. But how do you start to see how that bubbles up into Jira tickets or into ServiceNow incidents, or even a VictorOps implementation and triage session? You know, collecting that information in a central place is key. As I mentioned earlier about our developers actually collaborating, you give people, especially in a distributed team, who may have developers in, say, Boston or in New York or in San Francisco, giving a sense of community that you may not have to your developers and your product owners is a great way to start tracking, number one, effectiveness, who's toiling the most, who is contributing the most, and especially when it comes time for bonuses, it's also a good way to start measuring who deserves the biggest bonus. Now, as I had mentioned, it really comes down to having analytics at every stage of your application delivery for all of your visitors. Having information in a central repository gives people that ability to self-service their own reporting. Suddenly, if they're interested in an idea, or if they want to test out something, they can go to that one data point and start to create their own reporting. You don't have to get in the way of it. You don't have to create that reporting for them. And especially if it's just an experiment, they can start to understand it better, while also surfacing the visibility and the metrics for other users. So let's take a look at a couple of example user groups, a couple of example stakeholders. So, for example, for the business, what metrics, what KPIs and SLOs do they care about? They care about things like process times, how quickly can you deliver code, what is the overall return on the value that they've produced. Well, if you have all that information in one place, they can start to share that, because there's going to be overlap in some of the metrics that each of these teams, like the project management team, business, and operations, all care about. So for example, customer satisfaction. The business really cares about that, but so do your developers. Your security team, not so much, but they do care about code volume. How much is changing in the application? Your developers also care about that. So you have multiple data points that are of use to multiple different stakeholders, and giving them that visibility into a single common thread of information is very valuable. Things like response time. Ops is really going to care about that, but so is your development team. How do changes in the application change the response time, the application load time, impact to the customer satisfaction? It may not necessarily immediately spring to mind, but the business is going to care about that, because response time immediately factors into customer satisfaction. So the whole goal to this is, if you can collect data into a single place for self-service reporting on any KPI that matters to you and your business, it really should be to help accelerate the delivery velocity, getting ideas from customers faster by rapidly finding and removing delivery bottlenecks, waste, and other workflow issues that add to cycle time. Improve application quality, and I'm not going to read out each of these quotes from customers, and increase business impact. Because in the end, the goal of all of our jobs is to do something for the business, whether it be creating value, making sure value is able to be retrieved from a smoothly running platform, or making sure it's secure so that we don't end up compromised and end up compromising our customers. So really, how do you even go about this? It's just like eating an elephant. You take small bites. So find one data source that you use a lot, whether it be incident tickets, whether it be your commit logs. Start to collect that into one place and add more and more information over time, and you'll start to find correlations between data sets. Do it during your incident triage, do it during your planning stages. As you go, you'll add more and more layers to this data and gain more and more value. So thank you very much, and if you have any questions, hands up.
Question? Wow. Sorry about that. I am the great and powerful Oz.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, now, as if this wasn't fun already, right? We are going to combine a small break with the NewOps forum. Okay, forum implies that we're going to get together and share ideas. Okay, on the boards, some people have posted questions. Thus far, they're only on 3 topics, which was career development, cloud ops, and DevOps. There are, I think, 5 other topics. I put them up alphabetically. I suggest hop up in just a minute, grab a snack. If you have any additional questions, I'm going to be placing all of these boards on a table, okay? And I recommend that you get together and discuss the questions there based on the topic that you are interested in and provide your guidance and feedback based on those questions, okay? And in about 30 minutes, we're going to have James come on to talk to us about DevSecOps, if I remember correctly. And we'll have a representative from each one of the groups come up and just share a piece of information, a question and a response, okay? So I think one of them, somebody said, asked to, oh, actually I took a picture to make this easier. Hold on. That way I could give you the example. Good thing we have a couple extra minutes. This was a great question. I'd love people to get together. How do we know if the DevOps model is working better than dev and operations as they are? Right? So those types of questions. We also had what does cloud ops entail, and how is it different from traditional IT ops? Let's see. Give me some. How can I make my work or my team's work more visible and valued by leadership? Okay. So these are questions that y'all came up with. Provide your insights and answers to those questions. Does that sound good? All right, so for the next 5 to 10 minutes, get up, bio, grab a snack. If you want to add some quick feedback, that's fine. In about 5 minutes, I'm going to put those sheets down. All right?